It is that time of year when I just want to read cozy books. So I want to talk to you about the rabbit hole that I've gone down recently of reading cozy mysteries because I can't stop. And I'm going to talk about three that I really liked. And they're by three different authors. Two of them are Michigan-based authors that are from Michigan, and then the stories take place in Michigan. And I'm from Michigan, so I love that. And then the third one is in West Virginia. I kept running into them at my library, and they'd have like cats or dogs on the cover, and so I just kept taking them home with me. They're so fun, and they're just cozy and cute, and a lot of them have food in them, and at the end they have recipes for that food. And also there was one that I read recently too. It's called Apple Cider Slang. In the back it has a recipe for how to make apple cider. I didn't know you could make it at home in your slow cooker. I didn't know that was a thing. Like, my brain didn't even process that because I'm like, oh, they have to, go through a process at a cidery or whatever, but like, I guess you can make it at home. So I kind of want to try to make my own apple cider because now is the time. Like, we have a farm that's not too far from here. They have apples and I could get a big old bag, and I don't have a slow cooker. I have an Instapot because Instapot does everything. I got rid of our slow cooker because who needs a slow cooker if you have an Instapot? Anyways, I can make it in there. So now that I've been sidetracked, let's talk about the three cozy murder mystery books that I read recently. The first one is NoPAW to Stand On, and that was by Lori Cass. This is a Michigan author, and it's part of a series called A Bookmobile Cat Mystery. It takes place in this cute little town. There is a restaurant, and what happens is the lady that runs it, she was making these special like waffle cones that were supposed to be gluten-free, and somehow some weird like chemicals or something got slipped into the waffle cone mix and made them not gluten-free, and it sent some people to the hospital, and two of them were in critical condition. So this kind of like kicks off the story, and then like a bunch of the restaurants in town are being review bombed. Then you have the main character, and her best friend owns this restaurant that this kind of like where all this stuff starts happening, that this started with the waffle cones, and she wants to find out who would do this to her. And then another person in town winds up dead, and this just starts a whole chaotic thing of what's happening. Oh yeah, and too, at the library there's been some mild vandalism that's been happening too. So there's a bunch of stuff going on, and we're trying to figure it out. And our main character too, oh yeah, she's also supposed to get married, but at the last minute, I think it was the pastor or whatever broke his legs skateboarding. I could be remembering that wrong. So they're looking for someone who will marry them, and they only have like, I think, a month till the wedding. So there's a lot going on in this. It's cute, it's fun, it had me guessing up until the end, and I just really enjoyed it. And it has a cat in it, and the cat plays kind of like a major role in it. Oh, what do they call it? It's not like a bit part. It's like in the movies when it's supporting actor or actress. The cat plays a good supporting role that helps out because, the librarian lady, she's always like bouncing her ideas about who could possibly have been the killer and who's doing all this bad stuff around town and what the motive could be and all that stuff. And it was super cute, and I really liked it. After that one, I read The Murder at the Pumpkin Pageant. That one's by Darcy Hannah. This one has a dog that is one of the supporting characters and cast in this, and it's super cute. There is this lady, and she owns a lighthouse that is haunted, and she also has a bakery. And this is one of the ones that has a bunch of like Murder at the Pumpkin Pageant, right? So there's a lot of pumpkin-y stuff going on at the bakery, especially this time of year. And so in the back of the book, there's a bunch of pumpkin type recipes and some other stuff that sounds quite delicious. So I loved that it had those recipes in there. But anyway, so haunted lighthouse, bakery. She just wants Halloween decorations that are like kind of tasteful and not like spooky, scary. Think more like aesthetics, like autumn leaves and, corn stalks and pumpkins and whatever. But some kids or whoever keep like hanging up stuff that's creepy and scary. Like they'll hang a big Freddy Krueger in her tree and whatnot and all this stuff. She also has her friend staying with her, and her friend is an influencer. And her friend, unbeknownst to her, decides to invite some ghost hunters to come investigate her lighthouse. So she finds out about this and is not happy. And I said this in another video because I did have a problem with this. I still liked this book quite a lot, but I had one problem because you can't investigate a piece of property without the owner's permission, whether it's written or verbal. And these ghost hunters were supposed to come from a major TV network. So I was like, that kind of irked me that was left out. But look past that. And the book's cute, it's cozy, it's fun. So they start and they do this investigation because she does relent. She's like, okay, fine, whatever, do the investigation. The influencer is streaming it live and the ghost hunter guys are there and they're in the lighthouse and they're doing their thing with their different stuff or like EVPs and whatnot. And then all of a sudden these like lights kind of turn on, what they kind of call the ghost lights, and they freak out. The influencer girl, she runs one way out of the building and the guys go out the front door, she goes out the back door, and the girl, she runs into a body that's hanging from a tree. And so someone has been murdered and now there's a murder mystery upon us. And so it's trying to catch a killer and find out who did this and why. What is the motive? Why did this happen? And did the killer want this to be on film and live streamed? So it's a crazy story. It's cute, it's cozy, and it's super fun. Okay, and the most recent one I just finished was the apple cider Slang. And that one has 2 little cats in it, Kenny Rogers and Dolly. And they're these 2 little orange tabby cats. This takes place at the Smith Orchard. So it follows the 2 characters, Granny Smith, who is the owner of the orchards, and her granddaughter, Winnie. They are trying to drum up some more business since the grandfather had passed away 3 years ago. You know, the grandmother or Granny Smith had been going through like a lot of grief, and there was a lot of stuff he handled that she wasn't sure how to do. And so the orchard's been kind of struggling and isn't doing so well financially. And so the granddaughter, Winnie, takes it upon herself that she wants to open a cider shop. They want to do like Christmas at the orchard, and she thinks too, if she has a cider shop, she'll have a place where year round they can come buy, you know, cider and jams and jellies and teas and like specialty little items, you know, cakes and loaves and whatever. And so she wants to try to get a loan from the bank. And so they've been hosting these other events too for people to come to. And so they do one of these like Christmas at the orchard events. Unfortunately, when this happens, Granny Smith's nemesis and rival, this lady who is always fighting with everyone about everything and is just a know-it-all, just butthole, ends up dead in the cider press. And well, this kind of gives the farm a lot of bad press, especially because they now think that Granny did it because it was her rival, but she's just a little grandma. She couldn't have killed this lady. So it is up to Winnie to try and prove that she didn't. And so you have this whole mystery of trying to figure out like who would have killed this lady, because nobody liked her. She was always running her mouth, and you know, she was all she looked like half her age, and she had this hiking club she'd go hiking with, and they would be like, what's your secret? And she'd be like, oh, I just get out into nature all the time, do. And in reality, she was getting plastic surgery and it wasn't nature, and she was a big liar face. She just wanted people to compliment her. This woman was not very highly liked, so it's hard to figure out who would want to kill her because it could have been many, many people. So this sets off the mystery of who done it, and then you also follow the story of Winnie still trying to like save grandma's farm and orchards and all of that stuff. And the characters in this were super likable. I like the character development. I love the story. This is my favorite of the 3. I love this one. If I were to recommend one out of these 3, it would be this one. Apple Cider Slang by Julie Ann Lindsay. And then it would be NoPAW to Stand On. And then it would be The Murder at the Pumpkin Pageant. All 3 of those are super fun if you like cozy mysteries, and if you're looking for seasonal ones. We have one that's not like a seasonal one, which is the NoPAW to Stand On. Then we have a Halloween-esque one with The Murder at the Pumpkin Pageant. And then the Apple Cider Slang, which is a nice Christmas theme and is my favorite of the bunch. We're gonna have to try and make cider at some point. I should probably film it if I do. So look for that maybe in a future vlog, and probably read another cozy mystery maybe. I don't know. I'm still working out what I'm doing in vlogs. I don't know. If you can't get enough of cozy books, the next video coming up will be about another cozy book. So stick around, check it out. And if you enjoyed hanging out today, hit that subscribe button, come back, see me again, and we'll talk about more bookish things and weird stuff.